Hey everyone, my name is Dave Nixon and welcome back to another episode of the Peak and Flow podcast. Today, I would like to share some insight that is exceptionally important, something that I decided pretty early on in my career, but I probably didn't really embody it up until recently for a number of reasons, and I might touch on those as we go through because they were pretty important lessons. However, the key message above everything throughout this podcast and many other messages that I have, don't be better. Do not bother yourself with the idea of trying to be better. Now, I'm talking mostly business, right? In a business sense, in a marketplace sense. However, this could be in many other facets as well. But the key thing here is don't be better. Be different. Now, even in saying that, it's not about going out and trying to be different. It is just being you, because that is different. That's really important. That's the, like, you could probably finish the podcast here and they're like, oh, I got the message. You don't have to try and be better than the competition, because here's the key thing. If you're trying to be better than the competition, two things. One, it's a comparison game. It's also subjective. But two, you're seeing everyone else's competition. You don't play that game. Let other people play that game. That's fine. But don't play that game. Don't play the better game. Don't play the comparison game, right? You're not going to win. There is no winner. It doesn't work that way. You play the you game. You be you and you communicate you. And you let that bleed into your business. If there's more than just you in the business, that's fine. But people don't look for better. They look for different. Better doesn't stand out. Different stands out. And so what's so crucial about this is that if we're playing this comparison game, I'm constantly looking at all of the other people that are in the marketplace that are doing similar things to me. Now, I knew early on, and the longer that I've stayed in this industry, the more it's become true, no one can do what I do. No one, not a single person can do what I do. I've looked at people who either work with me or I'm coaching, and I'm like, you can't do what I do. And I can't do what you do. So don't try and do me. Don't try and do the things that I did the way I did them. You might try and do the things I did, but the way that you do them, the way that you communicate, even like with my writing. It was so important to me, whether you saw a podcast or read a podcast, listened to a podcast, read my book, read a blog, met me at a barbecue, whatever the case might be, is that it was just consistent, that it was the same signature. That the idea there is that it's actually on brand, because if you read my stuff and I read the way, I write the way I read, or I write the way I talk, rather. And the idea is that as people read my stuff, they can hear my voice in their head. That is literally me attempting to be on brand as best I can and making sure that my brand is far more than simply just an image. I wanted people to be able to hear my voice in their head as they're reading my blogs, my social media, or my books. That was the most important thing. And so how do I do that? Well, I don't try and be better at what I do compared to other people. I'm not interested in that. It's different. I'm me. And when I gave myself permission to do me the way that feels natural to me at that stage of life that I'm at, everything became a lot easier. There was one thing that I still struggle with, and I'll get to that a bit later in the podcast, but everything came a lot easier. And it's sort of going like, in whatever I do, I'm the special sauce. And so if I attempt to go and leave my special sauce and look at somebody else's special sauce, let's say we're making burgers, right? In the analogy, right? The difference is the sauce on the burger. And I look at the other burgers people are making and I try and get their ingredients for their sauce and do their sauce, but a little bit better. Now I'm playing their game. And as long as I play their game, I cannot win. Even if I'm doing, inverted commas, better than them, I'm playing their game. How do I play my game? How do I show up continually again and again and again? And it's actually just being me, just being authentic and letting that bleed into the things I do, in the businesses that I have, in the conversations that I have, in the values that I stand for, and then in the values that I shed, and being open about that. And so the powerful thing, even though I understood it early on about going, no one can do what I do. And the other side of that coin is I can't do what other people do. So pay attention, have a reference point but be true to you and be honest and show up. And I remember a question that I remember at a seminar years ago, before COVID, that long ago. And the stuff that I was teaching was around communication and around like coaching and leadership. And the difficulty of it is that it really was pointing to long-term change. It's stuff that we can't do quickly. The relationships, the culture shifts. It cannot happen quickly. And the person goes, but how do we integrate this stuff? How do we use this stuff when everyone else is selling short 28-day, 6-week fat loss challenges? It's like you tell the truth. You tell the truth consistently for a long period of time. That's kind of how you win. You outlast people by being consistent. You outlast people by being consistent and being honest, right? It's being sincere. That is literally the most important thing. And the way to do that is to allow yourself to integrate your flavor into your brand, into your communication, into the way that you write, into the way that you communicate, and really going, does this align with what I believe and what I value? Therefore, the extension of that in what we believe and what we value. And how do I know? And that's not just getting clients on board, that's getting the right team members on board. Do these people share a same vision? Because if not, I've got a lot of work on my hands to sort this out later on. So the crucial thing here is really being aware, who am I? What do I stand for at this point in time? How do I give myself space to allow myself to reflect and shed what's no longer necessary, because I will grow and develop throughout my years as a business person or within my career or as a father or as a mother or whatever the case might be. How do I give myself space to be able to let go of that so that I can become better? Because whatever stage of development you're at, whatever worldview you have, hopefully it won't be the worldview that you have in 10 years' time. Hopefully the worldview you have in 10 years' time is far greater, far more vast, far more flexible. Because what got you here is just not going to get you further. It's going to be your bottleneck. At some point, it'll become your bottleneck. You don't need the world to change. You need you to change. You want to go further, the world's changing regardless. You can't control that. What you can control is what you choose to be true, what you deem to be true. So, in all of this, in order to be different, it's giving yourself permission to be unapologetically you. And if you do that, people won't like you. People won't align with you. And that's how you know it's working. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that that's straight away black and white, that you're getting people offside and that they don't like you. It's just they're not the right fit. And I mentioned this before, but T-Pain, in one of the documentaries on hip-hop, said this beautifully. He's like, if you don't like it, I didn't make it for you. And if you do like it, welcome to the club. And it's just that. It's okay. And it took me so long, this was a lesson I mentioned earlier in the podcast, to just let people not like me or let people not be the right fit. That's okay. I know it sounds obvious, but actually doing it is a completely different thing. And so I had this need of I want people to like me. And so how do I communicate in a way, or how do I show up in a way that encourages them to like me or to get along with me or to believe what I'm saying or whatever the case is? And the more I did that, the more I realized that I just wasn't being true to myself. And therefore, I wasn't being true to the brand, I wasn't being true to the greater vision, and it caused me more problems than it solved. And so allowing people, as silly as it sounds, to not understand me, to not agree with me, to not like me, whatever it is, was one of the most freeing things. And one of the things that still comes up today, one of the most freeing things that I could allow. It's okay. They don't need to. And maybe later on they will. Maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. It's important for you to focus on you and let that be an extension that flows into what you do. By deterring people, not that I'm encouraging you to go out of your way to do this, and I see some people that do, but by deterring people, it means that it's working. It means that you're being you. Because what it does also mean, if you're deterring people, or deterring, depending how you say it, it means that you're also attracting people that are the right fit. Now, I'm not saying the right people, I'm saying the right fit people. There's plenty of good people that may not like me, that may not align with what I say, that may not ever think that coming to my facilities or coming to my courses or even listening to this podcast is beneficial. They're still probably really, really good people. That's my guess. There's probably really good people that don't like me. Maybe they got reason, maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. What matters is you focusing on you and you allowing yourself to be the courage to be disliked. It is literally that. And if you do that, then all these potential opinions that can run your thinking, that can influence your decisions, it just dissipates. And there you are, unapologetically you. And on that note, team, I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else that you think would also enjoy it. If you would like to know more about our retreats and our trainings, you can find some more information on that on the show notes. If you'd like to get a copy of my book, Money Yourself, you can also do that in the show notes. But that's me done. I'm out. Until next time, peace and pizza. I'll see you soon.